You must have all the formulas. So when you deal with chain of functions. So we're in chains of functions, but I want to talk about the uh, critical formulae that you need to know in N5 formulae. For an example, I used to call this power bracket, but let's say we have a function, or you can have functions all in all raised to the power of n. They are underneath the bracket. Or the nth root can be a rational in a rational form, which means we can have a square root. We know how to change the square root to exponential form. So please recall them. So in a case, if let's say we need to, let me put y here so we can derivate. So dy over dx, it will be equals to. The chain of functions state that it's like power rule. You will multiply the bracket, the coefficient of the bracket or the bracket by the exponent, and you say f of x, subtract 1 from the exponent. And you must make sure you multiply by the derivative of the function inside the bracket. So the derivative of that, it will be f prime of x. This is the fundamental rule in your N5. It combines all the rules into one. So it must be n times the bracket, subtract 1 from the exponent, and multiplied by the derivative of the functions inside the bracket. Inside the bracket. I want to take a quick example before I take it from the head. Okay. Okay, let's say for an example, if I don't see, take it from there. Let's say we have sine to the power of 5. Sine to the power of 5. Sine to the power of 5x. Right? So we need to change the function in terms of x. So what we're going to do, or maybe what I want you to recall here, it's an example. Please make sure you note or remember that trigonometric functions, if they're in powers, we can express it in them in this way. So that we can express it in that way. Because if you punch this in your calculator, you'll say sine, then it opens up the bracket. So you cannot put the fifth power before the bracket. So always raise sine all in all to the power of 5 in that way. So the whole sine is raised to the power of 5. So hence now it gives you that change of functions. Here we have to apply this rule, the power rule here, and we need to apply trigonometric functions. So let us change the function dy over dx, which is going to be equals to, we'll multiply the bracket of sine there, which is going to be 5 times sine x all in all to the power of 4, subtract 1 from the exponent. So you make sure that you multiply by the derivative of the function inside the bracket, which is going to be cosine x. And you were supposed to multiply again by the derivative of the angle. But derivative of x is, that's 1. So here we count the chains of functions. But if, let's say, you are more advanced in solving your problems, you know you can express it in this way. It's sine to the power of 4 x times cos x. You can even express it including double angles in it. Having, in fact, half double angles there. You can have cos x and cos x, which will be sine 2x over 2. Okay, just talking about tautology, but the more you solve, you'll see. But let's dig into chains of functions. Into chains of functions. So let's say we take another example. Just want to focus on change of functions before we go to products. Let's say we have y, which is equals to sine ln x. Sine ln x. So other methods can state that check the key function. The key function here is sine. Then in the angle of side there, it's a natural logarithm. So the angle there is natural logarithm. So the key function, it is sine. Then its angle is a natural logarithm. So which means you need to apply the derivative of trigonometric functions as well as natural logarithms. Some formula says that you can let this equals to u, and then you derive in terms of u. When you're done, you come in substitute. But straightforward in your level, the derivative dy over dx will be equals to. So the derivative of sine is cosine of the same angle, cosine ln x. It's very important. Therefore, we must multiply by the derivative of ln x. So what is derivative of ln x? It's 1 over x. Or it's over x derivative multiplied by the derivative of x, which is 1. And multiplied by ln e. So ln e is equals to 1. So it's because everything is equals to 1, that's why we are having that. So expressing it maybe in the complex way, not complex way, in a simplified way we are used to, we divide everything by x. So cosine, it is divided by x. It is divided by x. Okay, I hope it's clear. So that is chains of functions. Okay, I want to take another example. Okay, so we look into the roots. So let's say we have y equals to root cos x. Root cos x. So y is equals to root cos x. We need to derive the following. So it's still the same. Please make sure you express your function in its simplest form, because normally in power rule we used to say that your functions must be in exponential forms as well as in sum or addition functions as well as in the numerator. So it must be the same thing before we change the function. So we know that changing the square root into exponential form, we're going to have half there as an exponent. Then it's easier to change the function. The y over the x is going to be equals to, it's going to be half. Therefore, cosine x, subtract 1 from the exponent, it's going to be negative. It's negative half. So take out half from 1, you'll see you get half. So make sure you multiply by the derivative of the function inside the bracket, which is going to be negative sine x. And you're supposed to multiply by the derivative of the angle, which was supposed to be 1. So if it was as an exponent. Okay. So please, let's look into what we call this. The function here for cosine is having a negative exponent. So we need to know how to simplify it, leave our answers in positive exponents. So which means we have to take it down, isn't it? So in the numerator, we'll be left with negative sine x. In the denominator, we are taking cos, its exponent changes, becomes positive half. And we said half is what? It was root cosine x. So we just took this to the denominator, it meets with factor 2. The exponent changes, it becomes positive half. It becomes this. Change it back to root form, it's root cos x. Okay, I hope that is clear. When you move to integration, if you'll see functions like this, so you'll have to inspect which one is the function, which one is the derivative, or what did we derivate to get this other function.